So yeah, I thought it was just another run until the person running in front of me had vanished. Or I think she vanished. Okay, Season 1, Episode 1. Welcome to Find It Radio, everybody. I'm Joe, I'm your host. Bit of backstory. I live in Arizona, Phoenix, and, I know a little about a lot, and we're going to be diving into different topics one way or another and see what's there. So this episode, Gila Monsters, is kind of the catalyst that got me into this path. I've always had an interest or always had one eye on all of these fringe, unseen kind of topics, and this encounter that I'm about to talk about really nailed it for me. This is the one. So we'll get into it. So I'm a decent runner at best. I've ran a few races, run frequently, and like to go out early in the morning, especially during the Phoenix summer. And this particular day, it was a couple months ago, leave my house around 6, a little after 6, and without giving away 1,000 details about where I live or where this happened, I hop onto a main road from my house, running, obviously, running out my door. Main road will take me under a highway that borders this particular part of Phoenix. And next to the highway are power lines, not too uncommon there. Power lines also have an access road to where, they need to get worked on. Truck can drive next to them. Pretty straightforward stuff. So anyway, that's where I'm running to. So from my house, go under the highway, I would say it's maybe a quarter mile. And I turn left onto the power line maintenance road. You'd see the signs that say you're now entering the Gila River Indian community. So I run onto that trail. It's a pretty decent, trail, pretty well taken care of, or at least not really washed out. And so I'm on this trail. I've made a left turn. I'm on this trail. I'm running, and I would say I run, how about a fifth of a mile? And it turns right to where the power lines go perpendicular to the set that I was just on. So under highway, left turn, right turn. And it's, again, a very, very similar maintenance road for these power lines. So I'm running, I would say I run probably 1,000 feet, maybe 1,500 feet. And I stop. Before this, I wanted to start like a running account, maybe like on social media about, running a 5K every other day. And I was kind of building content for it. Still kind of want to do it. It seemed like an okay idea, but I would stop at this point because this was sunrise was pretty new still. And this area that I'm at is, cactus, no real traffic. I don't want to say desolate, but pretty left alone. And further down the road is a golf course, and down the other way is an outlet mall. So, still pretty wide open, but there's roads, there's people around. But anyway, this is always a good spot to take a few selfies or take a few pictures. So that's what I'm doing. And saying this out loud, it kind of sounds a bit silly, but I prop up a couple rocks that are kind of next to each other. Selfie rock, we'll just call it for the sake of the story, and do my pose, whatever I'm doing. And so I'm looking at the camera, and I look to the right, which is behind me now, and I see like a girl running towards me. Kind of like dark clothing, darker hair, can't really make much out. Like, again, she just turned onto the road that I'm on, so she's pretty far away. So I'm like, of course, there's not really anyone out there that often. I usually see a few cyclists, maybe a few runners, but of course, when I'm sitting there looking like a freaking dork, there's a person who's going to see me. So, she's coming, kind of quick, but I decide to go through with it, take my pictures, whatever. I don't really care. And it's that moment where you can tell she's like behind me, like coming up, and like, do I wave? Do I say anything? Do I make some stupid joke? Do I not do anything? So whatever. She ran behind me. I didn't do anything. She didn't stop. Not a big deal. Pick up my stuff, put my phone back in my pocket, hit resume on my workout, start going. And I look up and she is a good ways ahead of me. I'd say a good quarter of a mile. There's a main road there that will take you to the golf course and outlet mall, which is going to go perpendicular to the road that I'm on. It's an asphalt road. She's pretty close to that. So I would say, like a good, good distance ahead of me. So I was like, wow, she's taken off. I'm going to try and see where I stand, see if I can catch up to her or at least pace her or whatever. And so I'm running, she's taken off. She's gone. I'm just like, whoa, she's doing pretty well. And, it's kind of an area that you wouldn't see a ton of people at. You can picture wherever you're listening to, wherever you live, there's like that park that has like a walking trail. It's usually crowded full of people that, are just out there having fun. Like this is, I will humbly say, probably more of a place where runners go because it's, not a lot going on and there's some good distances you cover. Not necessarily me. I'm more of a 5K kind of guy. In fact, this route is about 3.75 miles to 4, like an out and back. So there's usually a sign that I run up to, turn around, come back. So, anyway, but we'll get into all that. So anyway, she's way ahead of me. She's further and further pulling away, and I'm feeling pretty good. I was up until then, I was thinking I was running a good pace. It was hovering around 7:10, 7:15. I've never broke a 7-minute mile, so, either way. So going up the road, probably another half mile from the paved road that we crossed over, is another set of power lines that are going perpendicular to the set that we're on. And she goes down that road. And I'm kind of thinking to myself, like, there's nothing that way. If she went to the left, there's kind of like the back of the golf course and maybe a weird way to get to the outlet mall, but definitely nothing super visible. But going to the right, there's nothing. And I've climbed up a few like, hiking trails, and you can see the Gila River Indian community, and there's, irrigation, farms, whatever, but that's all stuff that's way off in the distance, and it's not housing. It's all pretty commercial. So I'm just making like one of those mental notes, like, where is she going? Whatever. So I'm approaching the road that she just turned right down. And it's another dirt road, another power line maintenance road. And I look down it, and to my best guess, she is maybe a pole and a half length away. You know how they space the poles out, which would probably equate to maybe another 1,500, 2,000 feet. Again, these distances, this whole thing kind of happened pretty fast. But so what I'm trying to say is she's a good ways down that road, whether it be 1,500, 2,000 feet, quarter mile. Again, not hugely in my mind at this point, because in less distance than she's down that road is my out and back. I would say from that place where I saw her going down that road, my out and back point, where it's a little tiny white sign that says no trespassing. It's kind of approaching the back of the golf course, and I literally run up to it, stop, run back. And today was no different. So anyway, I would say it's maybe 1,000 feet generously from the road that I saw her turn right down. So I'm running up, do my out and back. I don't stop. I don't tie my shoe. I don't take any more fucking selfies, just whatever. It's done. And so I run up, put my foot on the imaginary line, turn around and take a few steps, look around. I look up and she's in front of me running away from me. And it took me by surprise for a minute because I'm like, there's no way. Like, she was way further down that road than I had to go by the time I turned around. And I took a few steps once I turned around, and maybe I ran 20, 30 feet before I noticed her. But even if at that exact moment that I looked and saw her down that road to the right, she stopped and turned around, I don't see how she could have come back that way ahead of me. But it didn't look like she was about to turn around. There was no like fixed object or something that she ran out to. So that was weird. Again, I'm running behind her. She's taken off, and I'm approaching the road that she initially went down and now she came out of. The road is on my left at this point. Remember, it's not out and back. You're just running the course in reverse. And I look down the road to see if there's, anything as I'm passing by it. And I see a younger man, maybe boy, teenage age, college age, had a runner's build. He wasn't wearing a shirt. He was wearing like tiny, like split athletic, like running shorts, like the track shorts. Longer hair, kind of around the same area where I thought that she was at when I initially came down. Anyway, still not really thinking too much about this. I just at that time thought that she was just running pretty fast. That's it. So we are getting a little closer to that paved road, which would take you, towards the outlet mall, more towards, that area. And I noticed that the boy behind me, boy, man, whatever, is approaching. Like, he's running faster than me. And I hear my running app go, time, 2 miles, whatever it was. And I ran a 7-minute mile. I was just like, holy cow, like, this is the fastest I've ever ran. And he's behind me. She's in front of me, still taking off quite a bit. And I just had this weird, sensation kind of like throughout all this, like, this is fun. Like, this feels good. Anyway, moving on, it's getting to the point where I'm wondering if I'm going to have to pull over, like, move out of the way, because I can feel like the guy behind me is going to pass me soon. And also I'm looking at the girl in front of me, because she's either going to go to the right once she gets to the power line road that is parallel to the highway, or she's going to go to the left. And at this point, I'm thinking, these are the local high school, I forget what it's called, but they have a cross-country team that I think is pretty good, and that's what they are. They're running the cross-country team. This is like their early morning whatever. So I'm thinking they're going to go left, which would take them, if they went left and then made another right, it would take them to the high school, kind of like, in that general direction. But at that road, if they went to the right, the power line road, if they went to the right, that would take them maybe in like 1.5 miles towards like the police station and outlet mall. Again, that's a pretty long run. And then if they were going to go back to the high school, it's, they just added like 4 miles maybe onto their route. And then already thinking about the route that the girl ran, like, it doesn't make any sense. So anyway, I'm watching her thinking that she's going to turn left and head back to the high school. So she's approaching it, and sometimes I have a hard time focusing. So I'm looking around and looking behind me and whatever. And it gets to the point where she had to have turned left or right, but she's gone. Like, I don't see her. And again, you can't keep going straight. You go straight, you go into the highway. And, I'm kind of doing a double take, like, wait, if I look to the right, like, there's shrubs, there's, waist-high bushes, if that, but there's no giant cactus, there's no hills, there's no anything out there. It's pretty flat. And I'm thinking, where the hell did she go? And again, looking to the left, there's nothing. So if she was running really, really fast, she could have made the left turn onto the parallel power line maintenance road and made a right turn And maybe I just didn't catch it. Then she'd be kind of far away where I wouldn't notice her unless I was trying to look that way. I don't know, benefit of the doubt. But it really tripped me out because she just vanished, honestly. So while all this is happening, I'm getting closer to thinking that this guy behind me is going to pass me. And so it's right around where I'm going to turn left as well. So I'm getting ready to make the left turn. And I look to the right to see if she went down that way, because if she did, I'd be able to see her for quite a way. Nothing. Make the left turn and probably run, I don't know, let's say 20 to 40 feet to where I look behind me to see if I'm about to get past. And I felt like he was pretty close behind me before this turn. And wouldn't you know it, he's gone. And he didn't go to the right to run down to the outlet mall or to the police station area. Because I'd see him. He'd be right there. Like, I thought he was going to pass me. He definitely didn't pass me on the left. He didn't stop and do an out and back the other way. Because, I can see everything. And at this moment, it kind of hit me like, what just happened? Like, who were these people? Because if we're going to get like really into like, I don't know, maybe some of the fringe woo-woo aspects of it, like this was a border between Phoenix and the Gila. And what was coming from there just sort of maybe appeared to all I know. And then this was kind of like the end of their, run. Yeah, that's one way to look at it. Could they both like independently have like stopped to tie their shoe or like, I don't know, take a rest? Maybe, but I don't like, they'd have to like lay like flat on the ground and not be seen. And they wouldn't have gone. So anyway, I'm kind of fumbling this up a little bit, but that's fine. This is how the podcast is going to go. I'm just going to talk. And so when I made the left turn, it's, like a quarter of a mile before you make the right turn. So I keep running. I'm just like thinking like, what the fuck? Like this can't like be real, like they were right here. Like it was almost like they were like, I was like being pulled by her and pushed by him. Like I said, like I never ran that fast and I felt fine. I wasn't like winded. I wasn't coughing. I wasn't thirsty. It was this incredible feeling. Anyway, turn right onto the road that goes under the highway. They're not there. They're just not around. No one, they didn't take off. They didn't get into a car. There was nothing parked. It was they're gone. So I ran, the rest of my way home, kind of trying to wrap my head around that. And, it was weird. It was just, there was no resolution. It was just, that's what happened. I couldn't really make any heads or tails of it. So fast forward about, I don't know, let's say maybe 3 weeks from that. That's when it started to get really hot here in Phoenix, and I wanted to go for a run. If I don't go in the morning, I have a small window in my schedule to where I can run from like 12 to 2. So during this particular day, it was 109 out. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to go for 2.5 miles. That'll be my roll. And just see what happens, no shirt, no water, whatever. I'm so tough. Anyway, going out there, a mile into it, I was just like breathing really heavy. My throat was starting to get sore just because I'm sucking in hot air. And I run the same course, down the main road, under the highway, turn left on the power line maintenance road, turn right onto the perpendicular power line maintenance road. No selfie today. I passed Selfie Rock, and I look up and there's a guy running from the paved road towards me, and we are getting kind of close to each other. He's wearing a white shirt. Has this amazing stride, this amazing cadence where he's like 4-foot striking. He looks really light on his heels. His posture is perfectly straight. Like you can just see the form of like a really seasoned runner. And he was holding a water bottle. He had a hat, and he was, running towards me. So we intersect, somewhere between halfway down this trail and the main road. And I'm at this point, like, there's no way I look, cool. I'm obviously just like struggling. This probably wasn't the best idea. And so when we pass, I just noticed that he just seems extremely comfortable. Like this is his routine. And the area he was coming from was very similar to where, like, I thought like those kids may be running to was pretty far away. Like this wasn't a 2.5 mile, jog like I was on. Like he had been running for some time to come from that area. So anyway, we intersect. I, kind of look at him. He says hello or what's up, something, and I'm like, oh, beautiful day out, huh? And he just laughs. Keep running. Not a big deal. And so I get to the end of the road that he came from, and I stop and I do take a selfie because it's kind of fun at this point. Like, hey, it's 109 out, going for a run. And then I look behind me when I'm about to, that's where I decided that my out and back was going to be. I was going to stop at that road and come back. And probably not 2.5 miles. I think it was more like 2, like the total amount of the run. So maybe a little over 1 was where the out and back was. Anyway, I turn around and look up, like look down the trail, and he had also stopped and that's the end of his out and back. And he was running towards me now. And I was just like, no way. Like, what are the odds that this guy's turning around at the same time I'm turning around? So running towards each other, and we kind of converge like around Selfie Rock. And at this point, like, we've already seen each other. Like, do I make a joke? Do I do anything? And I just, said, hey, see you next time. And he said, see ya. I remember it very, very vividly now that I think about it. And again, nothing really too redeeming about that. And then I'm thinking about it, like, what are the odds? What are the odds that there's someone else out here during this very, very, very uncomfortable time, and who looks like, fish in the water, just looks so comfortable, so happy. Hey, this is my run. And then I see him not once, but twice. And he turned around at the same moment I turned around. Again, it could be nothing, could be coincidence, could be something more, could be someone else kind of trolling me. I don't know. That's just kind of the stuff that I believe. And then fast forward probably another week later, I run the same exact course in the morning. I go down the main road under the highway, turn left onto the power line access road, turn right onto the perpendicular one, run past Selfie Rock, no selfie today, and I get to the paved road that we have to cross over, and I notice that it's the same young man who was running behind me is now running towards me. And we converge shortly after the road, and I say, what's up? And, it's him. Like, it's the hair, it's the shorts, it's, the fast pace. And he says, good morning. I just struck me as a bit odd. Like, he was definitely younger. I would put him as high school or college aged. And, I still don't really, I'm 34. I don't say good morning. It's just one of those things. I guess it's generational, but it just struck me like, oh, he said good morning. It's interesting. And that's it for the encounter there. I'm not going to try and make that into anything it's not, but it was just interesting. So that's what it's like to run on this particular part of the Gila River Indian community. 3 runs, and I've been out there before this. Nothing had really interesting happened, and been out there since, and nothing really interesting happened. But it's one of those things like where you can kind of feel it, and if you know the feeling of like there's just a different energy, maybe a different it just feels more active than other places that I've been. It's weird. I have no clairvoyancy. I have no experience with like healing energies or anything like that. I'm not trying to speak like that I know about energies. It's just when I'm there, you know the feeling. You've been to a place where you're like, this feels different. So what did I find? and find it, you got to find something. And I found, I really feel like I was caught up in something weird. And I feel like the desert has a lot of secrets. And I think on this particular day, I got to experience just a glimpse of one of them. And it almost feels like it was something reaching out to me, like, hey, this is what's going on, or hey, this is what we do out here. I don't know. It's hard to say, but I really feel like I was at peace. Like, I felt calm about it. And I've told this story a few times, which kind of nudged me into wanting to create a show based around these types of experiences or stories or accounts. And I feel way more uncomfortable telling the story and going over the details, and even a little scared. Right now, I'm recording this at night, and it's, kind of look around. But when this happened, there was never a feeling of fear of I'm in any sort of danger. It was a very comforting, almost exhilarating feeling of, this is what's happening right now. I'm running fast, and there's two people around me, and then they took off. It's weird. It's fucking weird. So whatever it was, I was just glad to be a part of it. And that was my strange account of what happened on the Gila River Indian community a few months ago. So if you enjoyed this episode of Find It, let's keep it going. If you didn't, DM me, find out why. But this is what we're looking for on the show, and this is what we're going to be talking about. I'll have some guests on, and we'll go from there. Like I said, this episode's a little bit more in-depth explaining about how we're going to do things, but moving forward, we'll have some guests, and we'll talk about some good things. So please subscribe, leave a review, anything, wherever you heard this. Let's get the word out. Let's lean into it. Let's keep it going, because every little bit's going to help me accomplish the dreams that I have for this show and so far beyond. So honestly, thank you. Thank you for listening. If you got this far, thank you so much. So for Find It Radio, I'm Joe. Keep looking.